It's official. The New York Yankees have just lost the World Series.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube or the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. As always, I'm Braden Iwasco. He's Carter First. You can find us on Twitter, Braden5 Iwasco. Carter First, too, as well on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Blue Jays. If you haven't dropped a subscription already, make sure you do so. If you're listening anywhere else, you can tune in. So to the YouTube, make sure you subscribe there so you get notified whenever we go live. Any shorts are posted, any other videos, just to keep you guys all in the loop. We also have a Discord link down below. We are going to be starting a Movember for the month of November. Hopefully everybody can donate to a great cause. I've done it the past couple of years. Now we have this platform, and it seems like a good chance to try to give back here. So we'll make sure we bring that out for you guys probably next episode. In saying that, I know that was a bit of a heavy topic to start the show, but the Yankees lose the World Series. Let's rejoice. This could not have been better, Carter. The loss was like icing on the cake for the New York Yankees.
I was really hoping for the sweep, obviously. I think it would have been hilarious if the Yankees got swept. And then Game 5 happened, and I couldn't be happier with what happened in that game. The fifth inning will completely break down. Like the Yankees just completely broke down in that fifth inning. It was absolutely insane. Never would have expected that to happen in a World Series game, maybe an ALDS game, but not quite the World Series. And just it being the Yankees, I don't know why. It brings me, well, I know exactly why, but it brings me a lot of joy. And it's not as good as like a Blue Jays win, like maybe a Blue Jays ALDS win or a playoff win, but it's right up there for me.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. And don't get me wrong. The Dodgers played amazing. Freddie Freeman winning MVP. I mean, that is just fantastic. As I always talk about, my second favorite player of all time, to watch him succeed is amazing. Teoscar Hernandez to get, his championship. It's great to watch, but I think the extra added bonus for all Blue Jays fans is you got to see the joy ripped out of all of Yankee Nation. So that's a bonus as well. But yeah, what a crazy, crazy game. I'm still a little bit in shock. It literally just ended about 4.5 minutes ago. So this is our sort of immediate reactions. Again, of course, you'd always want to see the Blue Jays win. But after the disappointing season that they had, I think this is almost best case scenario. I think if the Yankees would have went on to win the whole thing, I think we all would be feeling very, very terrible right now. So at least the Dodgers pulled it out, and the Jays fans get a little bit of relief not seeing the Yankees, take it home.
2024 would have been the worst year debatably of my life if you get a Yankees World Series win, you get the Jays season the way it's going. One guy that I want to know where he's at and how he's feeling right now is that dumb Yankees fan who ripped the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove. I want to know how he feels right now.
I can tell you.
Oh, you got some updates on this guy?
Yeah. So he went on Barstool Radio, I believe, he was on with KFC, I believe. I didn't see the full clip, but it sounded like listening to him talk, he didn't seem like a complete idiot either. I think he just got caught up in the moment. And don't get me wrong, Yankees fan, so I want to hate on the guy, but listening to him talk and everything like that, it didn't seem like a malicious intent or anything like that. It just sort of seemed like a sports moment that got away from him. So it was a very good interview with him. So go check out that if you guys want to hear what he has to say. I don't necessarily know that people do, but there you go.
Well, where are you at on that whole play though? Like, do you think he's like an idiot? Do you think it's kind of like meaningless? Like, where are you at with that?
So originally, when the ball goes over there, great play by Mookie Betts to grab that ball because it wasn't in play, right? That wasn't in the field of play. I have no problem with the fans trying to go grab that ball. It is in the seats. I really don't have an issue with it. Soon as you touch Mookie Betts, grab his arm and try to grab the ball out of the glove or grab the glove, that is a huge no-no for me. I think that interferes with the game, the players, everything, and that is an absolute no-go. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's crossing a line. But at the end of the day, nobody was hurt. Everything was fine. It wasn't the end of the world. I just think they needed to set a precedent so this doesn't happen again. And I hope that this sort of translates into that not happening again.
See, I think it's absolutely laughable. I don't know how you do that in that situation. If that's I don't know, George Springer, maybe more so in his prime. That's him in the World Series, and you like one guy's grabbing the guy's wrist and one guy is on his glove. If somehow there was an injury there, imagine
it's the end of the world.
This is a completely different scenario. And just his response to it, I've seen a couple clips on his response to the whole situation. Again, I saw a little bit from Barstool. The guy just didn't care at all. He's like, oh, like this was our plan the entire time. If we had an opportunity to do this, we're going to do that. I just think that's like a huge scumbag move to plan it out, have that whole situation transpire like that. Just the lack for player safety in the World Series, one of the best players in the World Series, is just crazy to me.
I don't think it was planned out that he was going to grab Mookie Betts. There's no way you can plan that.
It's not necessarily Mookie. This is what he said. He said if it ever was a chance that a ball went in that section, not necessarily in the World Series, just any time, because apparently he has season tickets there, that was their plan. They were going to try to get the ball out of the glove. I'm not necessarily saying they were going to grab his wrist, things like that. Maybe the plan went a little bit different in the moment. But to have that planned out and trying to rip the ball away from a player's glove is just crazy disrespectful to me. And it really sums up, not all Yankees fans, I'm not going to say that, but the Yankees, especially with some of their history and some of the ways they're viewed, just aren't necessarily the greatest amongst fans in the MLB. And I can't imagine it's a lot better after that.
No, and to be honest with you, that's not necessarily what I took away from the interview. It was sort of more so like if they have a chance to catch a foul ball, they're going to take that. And if they have to reach over the side to grab one, they will. I don't think it was, I'm going to rip this out of his glove. I think what he meant by that was if I could steal an out away from the Dodgers by reaching over. I don't think that there was any plan of him actually like grabbing Mookie's glove. I think it was just sort of lost in the interview. I don't want to put that out there and then be like, slandering this guy for something like malicious intent. I don't think there was necessarily malicious intent.
Well, and I'm not saying he's trying to injure the guy, but I'm saying that he planned to take the ball from a player. It's just why are you planning to touch a player on the baseball field in any scenario? I don't care if it's glove, the ball, whatever it is. You shouldn't be interfering with a play in that moment, especially in the World Series. I just don't understand how you could say that, oh, we planned to grab the ball. We were going to get the ball if we had the opportunity to do that. And just the lack of empathy, the lack of remorse for what he did. No apology, no nothing. I think at minimum, you got to say sorry for the situation.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think after the grab of the glove and the arm of Mookie Betts, I think that's where you have to like redial it in. I have no problem with a fan going to catch a foul ball, though. I think that is just a part of being a fan of baseball. Foul ball comes your way, you go and grab it. I mean, that happens from kids at Goldeyes games.
That's not the same thing, though. This is not at all the same thing as him just trying to catch the ball. Like he tried to whatever if he would have left it at that, but he went into his glove. That's the whole thing that I'm
no totally. But he can't. You can't plan to grab that out of his glove. Like you can't be like that exact. You can't know that exact play is going to happen.
Yeah, but how does that even go through your head? You're like, oh, this guy's the ball. I'm just going to rip it out of his glove. I'm going to rip it out of his glove. Like I'm going to manhandle his arm and try to rip this ball out of his glove. Yeah. To me, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, that part is insane. I think as soon as that happens, it goes from a standard fan interaction to an over-the-top play. I totally agree. I just don't know. I didn't watch the interview enough to understand, but from what I saw, I think the intent of it was to the preconceived was if they get a chance to catch a foul ball, not necessarily touch a player or, you know what I mean? Interfere with the play, maybe, but
yeah.
I don't think that bugs me as much as soon as you touch the player. I think that's an absolutely no-go.
Well, that's pretty much where I'm at. If he just went and attempted to get the ball and maybe he does catch it again, it wasn't like it was 3 feet from the wall. It was fairly close. I think it still would have landed in play. But again, you're in the moment. I'll give him that. It's as soon as you lay a hand on an MLB player, especially anytime, it's terrible. But in the World Series, because like everyone's in the situation is just lucky that nothing happened to Mookie Betts in that scenario. Because then even for us, like again, this is a little bit selfish for me to say. Obviously, it's mostly Mookie's personal safety, but Mookie Betts is a huge player on the Dodgers. Gives the Yankees a better chance to win. So it's just an unfair standpoint that the Dodgers can't control in that scenario.
Absolutely. If Mookie Betts ended up being injured because of a play like that, there would be outcry. Like people would be rioting in the streets. And honestly, fair enough. If that was a Blue Jays player in that situation that got grabbed, I would be reacting the same way. I'd be pretty pissed.
And that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, totally. I think soon as there's any interference to the player in regards to any contact whatsoever, I think that's an immediate ejection and possibly a ban from stadium, to be honest with you.
Well, I know he got banned from game 5, so I don't know if there was going to be any extension from that. I'm not sure how they're dealing with it at this point. I don't care as much anymore. I don't know if he should have season tickets, because I mean, you do it once, maybe he learns his lesson. But again, it's more so just the concept. You can't have that happening. You can't have kids, things like that, learning from a play like that. You can't make it okay to do that on a baseball field.
And that might be a Barstool part of it as well, right?
Yes.
They have this guy on, they're hyping the situation up, making light of a situation where, somebody could have got hurt. Not that maybe anybody would have, and very likely that, nobody's really going to get hurt, but it's not a baseball fan play. Like that shouldn't be in the cards of when you go to a baseball game that you are going to possibly interact or debatably hurt a player. So for Barstool to have him on and sort of, I get making a little bit light of it, but it sort of is giving light to the guy that just got booted out of, game 4 of the World Series. So I don't really know how I stand on it. I understand that they're doing it for content and clicks wise. Totally get that. I don't think it's the best,
not a good look.
Not a good look. That's the right way to say it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, whatever. It's Barstool. Barstool's going to do what Barstool's going to do. But yeah, a little bit of a questionable one there.
Yeah, just again, I just know I'm not backing. I'm not going to be one to back the guy and kind of give him a platform after he did something like that. But again, that's in the past. That was game 4. Let's get into game 5. We'll recap the entire game and obviously the lead up to the 5th inning. The 5th inning is what I really want to dive into and what completely changed this baseball game. So we're going to get into that right after this short break.
Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. I always talk about Game Time. It is one of my favorite apps on my phone. Favorite place to buy tickets because it makes it so easy and so cheap. They have their new Game Time picks. It makes it so much easier to save more on sports, comedy, concerts, theater, etc. Flash deals. You can even save more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. They also have this feature called Zone Deals, which I found pretty interesting and I've used a ton. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seat. So you don't specifically get to choose your seat, but you get to choose your section. Game Time gives you what they got, and it's at a discounted price. They also have their all-in pricing, which shows you your total up front right away, so you don't have to go into the cart and sort of be guessing of what the added fees are going to be. No, there's no added fees. Game Time's prices on the screen are the Game Time prices. They also have their seat views where you can get a panoramic view from your seat in-app before you buy, and the lowest price guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets and more with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So, Carter, we sort of went off on a tangent, classic Locked On Blue Jays there, talking about the fan, but we didn't really get to, and we wanted to cover it. But of course, we got to cover Game 5 as well, Carter, because oh my goodness, what a roller coaster of emotions. I'm going to lay this out here. This is exactly how my night went here watching Game 5. I was in my room, turned on the game, watched the first 3-4 innings about middle there, and I'm like, you know what? I want to have a shower. I got back from work. I'm like, I need to have a shower. So I'm like, you know what? They're down 5 rip. I can run for a quick shower. Have a quick shower. I'm on the phone. And I come back into my room, 5-5 game. I'm like, are you kidding me? As if I missed this. And then a bunch of stuff happens. I miss another inning. Nothing happens, thank God. And then I come back. Me and you finish watching the entire game. You know what? It was just a crazy night. I just had no expectations. Being down 5-0, I did not think the Dodgers were going to have it in them. But oh my goodness, man. As much as I say the Dodgers won this game, the Yankees really didn't help themselves out either.
No, the Yankees absolutely threw this game away. I don't think that's up for debate whatsoever. We'll get into the 5th inning. But at the start of the game, I had a night class today, which it's terrible beat for me, obviously. World Series Game 5, all this stuff happens. I get back around the 6th inning. So I'm going back from class and I'm looking like, oh, wow, like they tied the game up. Like, obviously I'm following the score during class, whatever. Unfortunately, couldn't watch the game. The Wi-Fi wasn't good enough. Would have tried, but didn't get it to go. So I'm like, oh, like this is crazy. How did this happen? And then I go to Twitter, X, whatever. And, and it just makes me laugh. It still makes me laugh up to this point. Let's just jump right into it. Okay, so first you get a fly ball to Aaron Judge. Do you want to break down what happened? I don't know how you missed that.
I don't know either. And I don't know how to break it down because I thought it was sort of a routine play. I don't know how that's missed. You know what? We talk about fielding and how important it is, but sometimes they do get away from you. Even the best fielders will have that problem. And we saw Aaron Judge rob one off the bat of Freddie Freeman earlier in the game to deep center field, but then you miss that one and it sort of takes it all away from you.
It's a bad moment in a World Series game to miss a ball. Again, there's maybe a little bit of side spin on it. Maybe, I don't know if like the crowd, maybe the noise, maybe the lights. I don't know what it could be, but in that moment, if you're Aaron Judge, obviously you have to make that play. Then we go to the next one, and it's a ground ball to Anthony Volpe, and he just kind of chucks it in the dirt. They can't make the play. That one really reminded me of the Elvis Andrus to Adrian Beltre play, and this is why it's so funny, because we'll get into this correlation as well. That's a tougher play. I'm not going to blame the third baseman. I think it's Jazz Chisholm playing third. Volpe just got to make a better throw. He makes a good play there. And again, you want to make that play. That one for me is probably out of the three. That one's the most excusable because it is a tougher play. But again, a World Series game, especially after the Aaron Judge error, you're really going to make that play.
Yeah, you can't pile on, right? That's the biggest thing. When something like that happens, you can survive one bad error. You can't survive two, and good Lord, you can't survive three. Oh my goodness, man. Garrett Cole, I don't know if he was out to lunch. I don't know if he was looking up at the stars. Forgets to cover the bag. I don't understand. Like, I remember my coaches in whatever.
I was going to ask you what age, yeah.
Like Pee-wee, maybe earlier. Yeah, and I remember they used to get on me. You got to go to one. You got to go to one. And I can still hear them yelling at me from the dugout. I don't know how you don't do that. This was just such a confusing inning, but wow, did it ever make for a entertaining baseball game?
Yeah, you get a ball that's not hit hard literally at all, and that's part of the problem. It's off the end of the bat. Anthony Rizzo's not fast. If you're Garrett Cole, you got to know that, and you know the ball's not hit hard. I obviously thinks the ball's closer to the bag than it is. By the time Rizzo gets the ball, I don't know who was running in that instance, but they're already 3/4 of the way to the base, and Rizzo doesn't even really try because he kind of knows, like, oh, I'm too far away from this base. If you're Garrett Cole, like, again, yeah, I don't know if he's out to lunch. Maybe he had an itch on his butt or something. I don't know what it was, but he was not paying attention during that play. He's just pointing to the base. Yeah, he knows he has to go to first base. He just can't get there. Just an all-time collapse. And yeah, let's go back to 2015. Something about this just seemed a little bit familiar. Except it wasn't just one player. It was the entire Yankees team. Obviously, 2015, Elvis Andrus, 3 straight errors. Again, handcuffed at short, a ball to Beltre at third. And just 3 errors in the same inning. And obviously, we know how that ended up. You get the Jose Bautista bat flip. In this scenario, Freddie Freeman's coming up, and he just does what he's been doing the entire series. He hits a single, gets a 2-run shot, or two runs to score, sorry. And then our boy, Teoscar Hernandez, with a double to tie up the ball game. And the rest, I guess, is history. We can kind of break the rest of it down. Blake Trinan, who's I want to go into.
Ooh.
This guy's arm probably felt like a spaghetti noodle after his 2 1/3 innings. They've been really relying on this guy, and for good reason. Looked absolutely disgusting. Again, 2 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. Just looked unbelievable. And he had it was a pitch to Jazz Chisholm. This isn't really, again, mean anything in the game, but we saw the backdoor slider, and we're like, that is one of the grossest pitches. It's unhittable.
Unless you're sitting on it, Carter, like really, unless you're looking for, maybe if you're looking for a high fastball and that comes in, you can adjust. But if you are expecting a breaking ball somewhere down in the zone, you don't have a chance in hell to get that ball, especially because it's coming from, from that far side back into the plate. Like that's like a blitz ball pitch or a wiffle ball pitch, dude. Like it was nuts.
It's one of those on TV. It was like the Jose Berrios slurve where you can see it break on the TV. And like, there's no way you see that coming out of the hand and think it's a strike. And again, it doesn't matter. We talked about, obviously in AAA, you can have that challenge. You challenge that. It doesn't matter. It still hit the plate. And then in the 8th inning, just really good at-bats by Gavin Lux and Mookie Betts, just doing a job. One thing that the Jays, like watching that one, the Jays would never do this. The Jays would have popped out and struck out probably. But yeah, Gavin Lux, fly ball to center field. Aaron Judge catches that one. Doesn't matter. Ties the game. Mookie Betts, and the same thing. Just a good at-bat, a good swing on an outside pitch, fly ball to center field. That's all you need in that moment, and that's all they needed to win the baseball game. Walker Buehler comes out in the 9th inning and just looks so good. As soon as Verdugo came up, I actually called it on the pitch. I'm like, yeah, it's a strikeout. And I don't even think that's like I'm the craziest like fortune teller. I just Verdugo's not very good.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know. It's a perfect cap off to a 2024 that was so bad for the Toronto Blue Jays. And of course, I always bring it back to the Blue Jays, right? This is a Blue Jays podcast. It was a tough year. It was a tough year. Hope was sort of sucked away from us pretty quickly. And I think at the end of the day, this is maybe the start of a little bit of hope coming back. You see the Yankees. You see the Yankees lose. We have a little bit of fun on the pod, and now we go into the offseason guns blazing, and hopefully Ross Atkins can do some magical things. I don't know. But I don't know. It's a nice feeling watching exciting baseball.
Absolutely. So I got 2 more things about this series, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Blue Jays baseball. MVP, Freddie Freeman, Canadian, your second favorite player of all time, the most deserving thing ever. I wish that Aaron Judge wouldn't have caught that baseball because, again, he would have broke the RBI record. I'm just going to go over this guy's stats through the 5 games of the World Series. 300 average, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, which ties an MLB record, 1 strikeout, and the score and TSN or Sportsnet put out 2 OPSs. Sportsnet put out a 1,364, and the score put out a 1,264. So somebody made a typo. I think it is Sportsnet that got it right, is what I would assume. But you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Doesn't matter. It's unbelievable. An unbelievable series from Freddie Freeman. And what a season from this guy. Obviously had medical concerns where it was life-threatening. If you saw that interview, I encourage you guys to look that up. And then the ankle, obviously, going into the World Series, debatably going to play, debatably not going to play. And then he just launches baseballs left, right, and center. Canadian guy, the Canadian grit, you absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, and you can tell when the ankle stopped giving him issues, right? He wasn't able to really plant his foot, and that's why he was grounding out a lot prior. And then you sort of saw it heal in real time, which was sort of crazy to see because you saw that plant foot being able to drive the baseball, and wow, what a difference does it make? And I know there's a lot of talk around the little things, you know, oh, baseball player missing games because of this or that. Like a hockey player would never miss a game because of that, or a football player. But it's the little things when it comes to baseball that can change everything. It's such a split-second game that, you know, every little thing can affect your entire game. So that was very cool. Bad, obviously, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but I think to see him go through that and then to succeed was a very cool thing to watch.
Yeah, the resilience that Freddie Freeman shows just honestly throughout the entire season is something that's very admirable and something that a lot of people can look up to. There was one more thing. Dave Roberts saying, do you guys want a parade at Yankee Stadium? One of the funnier things that I saw today. And then I said off camera, I'm going to bring it up on the podcast. I had a hypothetical question for you. So they kind of brought this up when they were talking on the broadcast, but it's something I noticed as well. So this hypothetical, the Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series. I don't care who they're playing. We'll say it's the Dodgers because, I mean, maybe that does happen. If it's going to be an NL team, it's going to be the Dodgers. The Dodgers beat the Blue Jays at the Rogers Center. You're in attendance. Are you watching the Los Angeles Dodgers celebrate, accept the trophy? Are you watching that whole 9 yards? Are you getting the hell out of there?
If I'm there and I paid the money, I'm watching it. At the end of the day, I love the Toronto Blue Jays more than anything. But I still am a baseball fan at heart. And I think, especially if it was a well-fought series, I think I have a little bit more respect. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's the Yankees, somehow, right? Or, you know, whatever.
I almost used that, yeah.
Then absolutely not. I don't think I could live with myself watching that. But if it's of course, it's going to be an NL team. I don't have that necessarily same hatred I do for the Yankees. So it would be different. But at the end of the day, I'm a baseball fan. And I think any baseball fans would probably stick around. You paid that money. You're at a World Series final game. I don't know. I think that's just a missed opportunity just to look back on eventually.
It's funny that you say that when you talk about how nice it is to go to a World Series. When you go to Game 1, a Dodgers fan gets kicked out because they catch a fly ball, home run, debatably a home run ball. I don't think it was, but the Gleyber Torres one, and then you get the Yankees one as well. Yeah, it's would be tough. I would hate every moment of it, but I think I have to agree with you. I think if you're going to pay that World Series money, if you're going to go to a game like that, again, if it's a hard fought series, I probably do it as well. I probably stick it out. If it's this game, I am leaving right away.
This
getting out
is
of
a
there
hard
so
one.
quickly. It's like they don't even touch the trophy yet, and I'm out of there. Like I'm running out of the stadium. I'm running out of the ballpark. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. It depends on the game for sure. Like maybe if you blow a lead going into the 9th inning where you're up 3, I don't know then. But I think like overall, if it's well fought series, they end up winning. Probably. I don't know. Good question though. It's a good like sort of whatever makes me think a little bit of like how I value my money in my life. So
yeah, and your emotional and maybe mental health as well.
Yeah, that oh god. Yeah, all of that. Yeah. We anyway, we still got some stuff to get into here. We wanted to talk do a little bit of a season in review for Leo Jimenez and also sort of what we look forward to. We're doing continuing our Blue Jays rankings post 2024 look going into 2025. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
Quickest out of all time.
Yeah, let's that's hilarious. Let's get into it. Season in review. Leo Jimenez. We have gone through some of the guys already, and we are at now 27. Leo Jimenez places 27th in our Blue Jays rankings for 2024, moving into 2025. I just want to go over his season stats here, Carter, before we throw it to you for a sort of a bigger breakdown. 63 games played, 210 plate appearances, 179 at bats. He had 4 home runs, 19 RBI, batting average of 229, an on-base percentage of 329, a slugging of 358, and an OPS of 686, Carter, on the season. Leo Jimenez, one of those weird guys that sort of flew under the radar, I feel like, for most Blue Jays fans throughout the season.
Absolutely. It's a guy that we had to rely on kind of down the stretch. You thought it was going to be Relvis Martinez. We know how that story ended. So it was Leo Jimenez, and he did decent in his time with the Toronto Blue Jays. You went over his stats. But one thing that I found very interesting, and as you may remember from the season, is Leo Jimenez got hit like a million times.
A million times.
He just got hit left, right, and center. He was our Danny Jansen after Danny Jansen got traded. Somebody had to take over for him, and it must have been Leo Jimenez. Because Leo Jimenez, this is a stat that's absolutely wild for me. He was hit by more pitches, that's 16 pitches, than he had walks with the Toronto Blue Jays. He only had 12 walks, hit by 16 pitches for a 7.6 hit by pitch percentage and a 5.7 walk rate. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's the closest guy to the plate of all time. I don't know if maybe he's biggest chirper behind the scenes and we don't hear something about it, but some people in the league have something against Leo Jimenez. And it's funny because you went over the plate appearances, 210 plate appearances. The next closest guy, he was ranked 9th in the league. And again, only played about half the season, 9th in the league in hit by pitches. Absolutely insane. They still had at least 380 at bats was the guy, everyone above him. And Leo Jimenez had 210. So if you play a full season and you get those numbers with Leo Jimenez, he might have broken the record by hit by pitches in the MLB. It's absolutely insane that this guy didn't get injured. Props to him, honestly, for battling through the bumps and bruises.
Well, and that's the difference, right? If that was Danny Jansen, there would have been 4 injuries that would have happened. And it sort of brings me back when we were playing high school baseball, my catcher, Dallin Wilton, he got pegged more than anybody I've ever seen. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever see anybody get hit by more pitches. And then I saw Leo Jimenez, and I'm like, wow, I think he's outdone him.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what constitutes that. I don't think Leo Jimenez is crazy close to the box. Maybe he's like slightly leading into pitches. Maybe he's doing something that some of the Toronto Blue Jays that are struggling should definitely learn from. But the thing with Leo Jimenez, again, he's a young guy. He's 23 years old. The problem with Leo Jimenez is that he doesn't have any options left. So he has to make the Toronto Blue Jays or else he will be designated for assignment because he's on the 40-man roster. And this guy gets designated for assignment. He has to go to waivers. He is going to get picked up. He's too good at fielding. He's a young player. there's going to be a team, whether it's like the Oakland Athletics, maybe the Los Angeles Angels. It's not going to be the New York Yankees, not going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers, but some team will probably pick him up. Actually, maybe the Miami Marlins. They like getting random Toronto Blue Jays. Otto Lopez is also there. But with the options, the way it works is that Leo Jimenez was added to the 40-man roster in 2021. So you get 3 years of service time typically, and that is your 3 years of options. You got to play at least 20 games, whether it's in the minors or the major leagues. And with that as well, you are eligible for a 4th-year option as well, but you have to have less than 5 years of service time in the minors and the majors combined. Leo, going into his 6th season, obviously does not qualify for that. So this kind of leads to another thing. With the shortstop position, you're going to have Bichette coming back. You're going to have Aurelvis Martinez coming back. You're going to have Josh Kaslovich, who's an option. You're going to have Ernie Clement, and you're going to have Leo Jimenez. There's quite a few options there. Josh Kaslovich does not have to be making the major league team in 2025, so that's probably a guy that starts in AAA or maybe AA. But you got 4 players. Again, Ernie Clement can play third, and Ernie Clement plays second. There's things you can do with Ernie, but you probably want to get Aurelvis Martinez up at some point in the season, if not making the opening day roster, and you definitely want Bichette in your lineup. Does that leave any room for Leo Jimenez? For me, not exactly, and that's why we kind of have him low on this list. But it's definitely open for a trade at this point. There's so much players at the shortstop position. Maybe move on from a guy like Leo Jimenez and you pick 1 or 2 more guys and you try to get a slightly above average bat, maybe a bullpen arm. You have lots of different things you could do to bolster this team.
Yeah, there's not really any room, Carter. We talked about this in other episodes, right? Where some positions will be filled by off-season moves and free agency. So, yeah, I think he's one of these guys that they're going to have to do something with, because I'm not a big fan of waivers. I think you try to use him as a trade piece if possible, because you don't want to waste a guy like that and have him move on for nothing. So at the end of the day, yeah, I think that this might become a trade bit for a bullpen arm. And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that lets you focus a little bit more on your offense for the offseason free agency. And then you can maybe do some of these littler trades to make your bullpen better. That's sort of where I'm at with all of this.
Well, and this is a guy that used to be ranked the number 5 prospect for the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, the Toronto Blue Jays prospect system isn't the greatest of all time, so maybe that is discredited a little bit. But this is a guy that plays good defense and did show a little bit of power down the stretch. Started hitting a lot of doubles as well. So, and also Leo Jimenez is playing winter baseball, so maybe he gets a little bit better. Maybe he makes this a very hard decision for the Toronto Blue Jays. If he can play his way into maybe an opening day roster spot on the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's an effective hitter, I'm not going to be one to complain about that. And it gives the Toronto Blue Jays options of what they want to do.
Yeah, I could see that. And that's what you hope for. You hope that every player makes it a tough decision, because at the end of the day, you'd rather have a tough decision than no decisions. So, yeah, I don't know, Carter. Leo Jimenez is sort of one of those pieces that I'm just going to have to wait and see on. I don't have a concrete answer for what's going to happen with them, because, again, we have a long offseason and a long spring training to see what these guys can bring to the table. But besides that, I mean, my guy, what a day. What a day here. I'm sort of just over the moon. I'm ready to go to bed so I can throw my Freddie Freeman Dodgers jersey on as I go into work tomorrow and laugh in the face of Yankees fans.
I think after this, I'm going to look up some Yankees fan reactions to that 5th inning. I do want to see a little bit of the demise of the New York Yankees fans, especially because some of them, not all of them, I'm going to say obviously, but some of them were very cocky going into this series. And I actually also want to know where the Juan Soto talks are going to be. Does this guy want to play with a team that just got embarrassed like that? He didn't have anything to do with these errors. Maybe he doesn't want that to repeat history, but we'll see what happens in free agency. That's going to start very soon now that the World Series is over.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We got another big episode coming up for you guys tomorrow. Yeah, we sort of pushed everything back. We weren't sure what kind of episode we were going to do on the World Series, sort of depending on what all happened. And we were sort of waiting for the ball to drop on when the Dodgers were going to finally finish the Yankees off. So yeah, we got a ton of stuff still coming out. Like, we have, I don't know, an undocumented amount of content. So we'll get that out to you guys coming up. We always appreciate you guys watching and tuning in and making us your first listen. If you want to find a second listen, go check out Paul Sullivan's Locked On MLB. Holy moly, too many Pauls in my head. And he's going to have a full breakdown on the game as well, and sort of just the culmination of the World Series as a whole. So make sure you guys go check out Locked On MLB. Host Paul Sullivan, Sully. I should just call him Sully. Like, again, he's in my phone as Sully. You think I would just use the nickname, but whatever. At the end of the day, We appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys drop a comment. Tell us what you guys thought about the World Series and sort of what your reactions are. Did you see any crazy Yankee fan reactions? Let us know. Give us a link. Shoot us a link if you find any funny videos.
Absolutely, do that. Yeah, let me know, especially whether it's in the Discord, whether it's in the YouTube comments, you want to DM me, you want to Instagram, wherever you're going to post it, I'm going to find it. Because I don't know, maybe it's I'm a little crazy because of this, and maybe not everyone wants to be like this, but I enjoy watching Yankees fans be a little bit frustrated and upset. Maybe it comes down to the rivalry, things like that. But what a way to end the MLB season! One of the crazier World Series, especially the way to end the World Series that I have seen in my lifetime. I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow.